Welcome back to our video series on KiwiRail's new Permits and TARS portal. In this video, we're going to be taking you through the steps to create and lodge a Permit to Enter application. We'll start here on our Permits to Enter dashboard. The first page you will see is asking you about the details for a subcontractor. Now, because you've created an account with KiwiRail's Permits to Enter portal, you will not have to enter your own details. They will be drawn from your personal account. If you are applying on behalf of a subcontractor or have a contractor working underneath you on site, then please enter the details here. If not, you can click No and then click Next to go on to the next part of the application. We're going to say that we are working with a subcontractor on this project, so I'll just quickly enter the details here and speed those up for you. Clicking Next, we move on to the next phase of the application. Some contractors are engaged directly by KiwiRail to complete works on our behalf. If this applies to you, and whoever has engaged you to complete the works has offered to sponsor your Permit to Enter, then select Yes, and enter their details in the boxes below. In this scenario, we're going to say that our work is not sponsored by KiwiRail and move on. The next question relates directly to assets, particularly utility assets, although it could be any asset. Answering this question will show you a series of different questions pertaining specifically to the asset, and then questions about your specific scope of work. In this scenario, we are working on behalf of a utility, and we'll enter their name in the box below. The next question following that relates to the property rights that the asset might have. If you're unsure about the property rights required for your asset, then you can refer to the customer guide, which is on the knowledge base on the KiwiRail Permits and TARS portal. You can access that by clicking the question mark in the top right of the home page. Please be aware that if you do require a deed of grant and you fall into one of those two categories, your Permit to Enter will not be issued until you have an authorised deed of grant. If we click at the top here for a new or existing asset, then we must enter our deed of grant number in the bottom there. Please be aware that this is a random number. From there, we're going to select our scope of work. In this scenario, we're completing a trenchless installation beneath the corridor, but we've included several of our most popular or most common scopes of work in this drop-down menu. If you cannot find the work that you're hoping to carry out in this drop-down menu, then select Other and write a brief description of the works below in the box provided. Even if you are completing a scope of work that features on the list, as we are in this scenario, please also add a brief description. Now, if you're not working on an asset, scroll back up to the top and select No. Here you'll be shown the non-utility scope of work options from a similar drop-down menu. Again, if you cannot see the scope of work that you are wanting to complete under this Permit to Enter, select Other and provide the details in the box below. Here I'm entering the details of our scope of work. Below, I'm going to list the specifics of the asset being installed. The final question there relates to traffic management. If you are deploying traffic management as part of your works, please select Yes. Once the details have been entered, click Next in the bottom right to move on to the next part of the application. Tab 3 of the application is about location. Here you'll be shown a map of New Zealand with our rail network superimposed on top. Please scroll around the country until you find the area where you're wanting to work. In this scenario, we're working on the Central Plateau of the North Island, and I've selected our site here on the map. As you can see, our address has been pre-populated in the boxes below from where we've placed the pin on the map. However, if you can provide more specific information, as I'm doing here, please do so. Below the address, we ask whether your application is for generic, regional, or nationwide access. If you are looking to access a wide area, a whole region, or the whole country, please select Yes and provide additional comments in the box provided below. You'll note the GIS latitude in the bottom, but please do not worry about those fields. They're simply for KiwiRail's reference. The next page relates to dates and times. The first question is whether or not your application is for an annual permit. Annual permits are valid for an entire 12-month calendar year. If you do not require an annual permit, please select No, as the annual permit fee is higher. Below, you can give an indication of the dates that you would like to access the rail corridor. Please bear in mind that due to the processing time of the permit to enter, track access request, and any additional permits required, such as permits to dig or EF201 for electrical safety, you may not be able to access the rail corridor on the dates that you've originally requested. The dates you enter in these boxes are more of a guideline for KiwiRail to see when the work is coming up in the future. Below you can enter the start time and end time for your work on site. Unlike the dates, your KiwiRail Corridor Access Advisor will be using these times to add on to your permit to enter. As such, please make sure that the times you enter are accurate to what you would like to have on the day. At the bottom here, you'll find a question regarding urgent processing. If you are applying for an urgent permit, if your work is non-urgent, please do select no. Please be aware that all applications for urgent processing go directly to the National Corridor Manager, who will determine whether urgency is required or not. If your application is deemed to be urgent, it will be processed by the National Permits team with priority. The Permits and TARS portal requires that you submit all relevant supporting documentation at the time of application. This is a new part of the KiwiRail permit to enter process, which will speed up processing times for permits to enter. If you have not got all of the relevant supporting documentation at this point, you can scroll down to the bottom of the application page and select Save. This will save your application in its current state, and you can return to it to upload the supporting documents that you require when you have them. All of the supporting documents that you upload will appear in this table at the bottom, so you can double check those to make sure that everything is correct. Please ensure to enter your PO number at the bottom and make sure that it's correct and valid. This will be used for all of your invoices and payments throughout the permit to enter and TAR process. Finally, we come to the last page of the permit to enter application. This is the final acknowledgement of the specific details of the permit to enter. Please read them carefully and tick I accept before pressing the submit button to finally submit your permit to enter application. When you press the submit button, you will be automatically redirected to your permits to enter homepage. And here you can see your new permit to enter application with its status submitted.